Yeah, I can talk to Steve Jobs if I want to. Like I can have a one-on-one conversation with him if I wanted to.
If you are doing a job which is vulnerable to automation, you should be worried.
GPT and jobs, they're like a race, right? दोनों भाग रहे हैं. Okay, but we don't know which is going faster and how much time do we have left till GPT overtakes us. Or forget about GPT. Google's obviously going to compete with this now. So
True.
until when? So just spin one coming. So first question to you, Tanay. You're a software developer. You went through GPT. What are your initial thoughts? Not potential, where it is right now.
Initial thoughts is like it's a good toy to play, but it can never do what we are doing day to day. I mean, there's a ton of complexity, Varun. Um, but we'll do this like I was saying we should do it like the Hindi news channel way. Like आज हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं एक expert software developer and आज हम बात करेंगे GPT-3 पे, and then we should make it sensational because that's what people are doing around GPT-3. They're making it very sensational, even though it's a good toy to have. Like it can solve some problems, but very like it has a very low scope. If you ask me, only level one issues it can solve. But the moment it goes to it does anything beyond that. Like I am as worried about GPT-3 as I am worried about anybody who is learning from me, first React session and then making me jobless. Both have the same level of competency. GPT-3 and doing 1 hour of React session. That's it. After that, there is a lot of difference. So not worried. Like I was not, I didn't even check out GPT-3 when people were saying, oh. But then a lot of students said that, does it even make sense doing web development? I'm like, okay, let's see if it makes sense or not. And then I saw some of the videos, what GPT-3 can do, how GPT-3 works. So I spent some time doing AI in 2016 when AI was very hot in India. And I know the limitations of a natural language processor. It's amazing, to be honest, since they have trained it on a very big data set. It's good, but the only the only job it's going to take is of AI developers and not of web developers or programmers. So that's the thing. That's my first take on it.
Got it. So, where I found the biggest scope for GPT to cause disruption, it's in content writing. One of the things GPT is really good at, software development, I mean, what GPT is creating is what some student in the 11th or 12th grade can create, right? But
True.
with content writing, GPT is producing really advanced stuff. I'll tell you why, right? Because it's stealing. It's taking content from some of the best in the world, it's amalgamating it, so changing it a little bit here and there, and it comes out very nice. So if you wanted, one of the use cases of GPT right now, people don't realize this. If you put enough content on the internet, and I put out a tweet about this, if you put out enough content on the internet, and then you die, your children can actually talk to you. It's a legit use case that you can do right now. Similarly, there's these threads about people talking to Steve.
Man of Steel, where his father comes in. It's the exact same thing which we can do with GPT-3.
Exactly. Yeah. And there are people, right? There's somebody talking to Steve Jobs. There's somebody talking to Martin Luther King. As long as they put out enough content and that content's on the web, you can talk to that person, right? So I found this really cool. This is what I did in my small demos with GPT. I got access to it. It was purely talking to old dead people and seeing what their responses are like. It's very therapeutic. I can talk to Steve Jobs if I want to. Like I can have a one-on-one conversation with him if I wanted to. And the more content now, like Steve Jobs only put out a limited amount of content on the internet. But look at all the amount of content we are putting out. So we are all putting out content, and anybody, like if you wanted, you could actually speak to me. You could actually speak to Tanay Pratap, right? Which is true. I think that is the big value, and because of that, content writing gets disrupted. But with code, the way GPT approaches code is again the same thing, amalgamation and change a few things here and there. But the problem, I don't think that's the right way to approach code, in my opinion. But it gives a good idea of where the future lies. So my question to you is, what about potential? Has GPT shaken the entire industry? And more importantly, what do content writers at this moment do? I know content writing is not your forte, but You know a lot about the content writing industry. What do they do at this point?
Yeah, so content writing is one thing which you were telling me. Content writing, I thought anybody can talk to Steve Jobs. Maybe I'll ask someone to prepare a Prime GPT-3 with my podcast, because I have put enough content so that people who keep asking me the same question, at least they will have a feeling like, okay, Tanay is answering this question, you know. So that's, I
Exactly.
think, is a great idea, wherein mentorship is very personalized, depending on what the person is asking. So
So like customer
so
support,
that's it.
because this is customer support.
Customer
Tanay,
support.
because this is customer
Oh,
support. Because see, FAQs are on the
correct.
website, but people don't go to the website. They want to talk to somebody. This solves
True,
that problem.
true,
This is like
definitely.
easily solves that problem. Do you know how
Uh,
many BPO jobs are there in India right now? It's like in the
how many?
millions. Like BPO, business process outsourcing, especially customer support. Like a
Yes,
company, they
yes,
will
yes.
outsource their customer support to some other company. That's a big source of employment. That's gone. That's dead. I can
True.
guarantee you that's dead. Because see, text से voice convert करना is not very difficult,
It's
right?
very easy.
Now
We
my
are doing
question,
it. It's you did you see the Google I/O 2019? There they showed this wherein Google Home calls and does, and you know it converses
books
with
an appointment.
the salon or something. Yeah, booking an appointment, right? So yeah, BPO is definitely in danger, big danger
Con-
actually. But that's
content writing
always there,
BPO.
no, Varun. Like content writing is definitely gone. Like if if you're doing content writing for say a company which has no soul, then it's gone. But if you have a soul, like nobody can write content for you or for me, because we keep evolving and we have a fingerprint on our content, right? It's
Mhm.
Tanay's content, it's Varun's content, because we think in that way, and then we take other data in and then process it. So if you're not processing data, then you are definitely dead. But otherwise, it's very tough for GPT-3 also to do that kind of content. But yeah, general jobs. So my take is any day, like GPT-3 or no GPT-3. If you are doing a job which is vulnerable to automation, you should be worried. If it's not a creative job, if it doesn't have a soul to it, if it doesn't have creativity to it, you should be worried, right? I mean, whether GPT-3 or Google or someone else will come and take your job
I think the
someday.
word you're looking for, because many people misunderstand the word creativity, I think the word you're looking for is uniqueness. See, at any given
Yeah,
point, I don't know what Tanay is going to be doing next year. Like you could come up with a new project and we would all still be bamboozled, like, oh wow, it's new. We don't know what
exactly,
it's about.
exactly.
But if you mean creativity as in, changing one color or one button, that GPT can do very easily. Right? Rotating,
That it
just
can do better than us, because
exactly.
there is a science and there is a randomness to everything, right? The science part is very well done by GPT. So only thing which you can do is the randomness part, like what is the next feature which Zomato is coming up with. You don't know, so GPT can't do it for you. So these are the
Exactly.
things wherein businesses will make money, still make money, and software developers don't need to worry about it. But if your job is like putting a button, Webflow was anyway doing it. Like I'm saying, Webflow is better than GPT-3 today, right? It creates better
Hmm.
websites. So am I worried about Webflow? If I'm not worried about Webflow, then why GPT-3? Because
Got
if
it.
your level is that, then you should be worried about it. And once I was talking to Chikara Abhinav about this on the podcast, and I said, "How do you think about Canva, like for designing?" And he gave me a superb answer, dude. It has stayed with me. He said, "Canva is good because Canva preps other folks to appreciate design, and then they come to us when they want to do better work. It's like Ruby on Rails, right? You can do only MVP level stuff like on your own, but then you need a developer to scale it. So your job is only going to increase, like as a developer, as a programmer, our job is only going to increase because now VC money will flow in with better baked ideas. Now people will bake the ideas really well, they can try it really well, and then you would need a Tanay or a someone to scale it, right? But the
To
problem is
specialize, to
yeah, exactly, that's what the word I was looking. So you need a specialization in something, otherwise you are doomed with GPT-3 and all of it. Yeah, true.
and that's the thing, right? There are a lot of people doing very basic level like studies in anything, right? And that's one big issue with college also, which is they teach you the bare shell stuff of anything, and they're like, then go to the industry and get better. But today, I can guarantee you, GPT can do bare shell in anything. Like if you're saying build a simple to-do app, which your college, it could be a college project in the third year. I can guarantee you, GPT can do that in 30 seconds. right? And more importantly, I feel GPT is a good interface here in the sense you have a tough problem, you want to make a simple solution around the problem. GPT is a good like it's like Google. See, Google was autocomplete for questions. I have a question, I want an autocomplete for it. GPT is autocomplete for problems. Like I have a problem, I want a simple solution to it. Show me what it's like. But you still have to build like it's like a house, right? You can automatically build a house, but then you still have to, if there's some bricks out of place, you have to go manually place those bricks. Like one guy was telling me this, right? He's like, if I want to build Avalon Meta, I can go to GPT and say, bro, build Avalon Meta for me, same UI, same everything. And the problem with that is, okay, you get Avalon Meta, right? Then the question is, now you want to make a small change to Avalon Meta. How do you do that? Right?
True.
How do you do that? Because now you need to know, like, because GPT at the backend is written code. Now you need to go deep dive into the code and fix it, right? So that you are not going to kind of figure out. But my question to you, Tanay, is how long, right? Because it's more than anything, it's a simple show of what it's like. And especially as we move towards AGI, if you're saying that there is a device that can learn, how long do we have until intermediate, because I think expert software developers, in whatever field, expert dancers also will always survive. But intermediate level software developers, where I think most people end their careers at, where is that going to, what is the problem with that?
I see what I was thinking about this since we talked last time. I think it was 2 or 3 days back, and I was reading around it. So here is my take, and this is very very personal take. Is see when say Ruby on Rails came or when big data came, these were also levels of automation wherein things which you were not able to do before, you could do it very easily now, right? So what happened was all these even intermediate software developers, they became like a driver. A car driver doesn't know where his body stops and where the car starts. When you're driving a car, you are part with the car, right? You think and you press everything. So I think the level of automation will not suddenly change. It cannot happen because even this is end of the day, this AI is a software, right? So it needs user to feed the loop and be better, and it will take months or years together. What will happen to these intermediate developers is they'll still be operating at that level, only their tools will increase. Now instead of say big data or whatever Mixpanel or whatever they are using for analytics today, there will be better analytical tools now, but someone needs to know SQL to understand whether this data is right or not, because GPT-3 or GPT-5 will still only be a translator. They could be a really good translator, but they do not have the wisdom which is in the human being right now. So where I see this entire thing going on forward is all these intermediate software developers will at least have jobs, and they just have to keep redefining themselves. Like people had to learn different kinds of analytics tool, different kinds of Tableau and all of these things they had to learn. Similarly, they had to learn a new piece of tool which will come up. They are now people are doing Webflow, people were doing WordPress few years back. So it's just that there will be tools, but still I don't think कि जो आपका a director in a company would directly go and say, hey, GPT-3, make me this chart and make sure that it is okay, because director doesn't have time, right? It has to make business decisions there. So you need an intermediate developer to do analytics. You need intermediate developer to solve bugs and make sure it's working or not. All of those things. But yeah, job will change. You will have a different job description, definitely. Programming will only help because end of the day, you have to program the AI also. And if the AI's output is a program, then you need to understand it even better. So I think intermediate developers are also safe.
But coming back to the topic, okay, 10 years down the line, if you had the opportunity to work on software like GPT, right, what would you optimize for if you were to replace coding? How would you think about the problem?
Wow. Don't know. I think, see, the problem with replacing coding is, the problem with coding itself is, Varun, and you are building Avalon Meta app, right? And you have built so many apps, you would relate to it as many times the requirements are not clear in your own head, right? You introduce a lot of bugs by thinking this way or that way. What GPT-3 can do is it can convert your requirements to code, but then you have to write very clear requirements, which is not clear in your head itself. So how would you optimize that? I would say the way it's being optimized, say if you go to Figma today, it has some pre-built screens for everything, right? If you want to do mobile development, there is a screen. If you want to do desktop development, there's a screen. So you have starter packages. I think what GPT-3 can do is it can It can do very
Build
good
starters.
starter packages. Yeah, it can build really good starters. Where I see GPT-3 is not for me. It's not useful for me because it's again a translator, and I don't do translation work. I do very hard work. Like there's a product requirement, and I have to translate it to a proper code requirement and then write the code. So this is my work. I mean, the center of my job is converting product requirement to code requirement. But what GPT-3 needs is very clear requirements, right? Like go here and do this, and go here and do this, or go here and do this. Anyway, coming back to the point is, if you have really good starters, a lot of people who are doing startups, right? People who say, I need a CTO, I need a co-founder, I need a technical co-founder. They can actually really build on their ideas really well. Like I think what Figma is doing is really great because you click and then you show the next transition screen. So you can actually make a really good PPT or deck to show it to your investors. And I think that's why any founder or anybody who wants to do a startup should learn design first rather than code first. That's why I always tell that, if you want to be a soft startup guy, entrepreneur, then go and learn design or learn Figma. It's more useful too. So I think GPT-3, and I think a lot of people are thinking that way, that GPT-3 is where, say today, Webflow is placed or Ruby on Rails was placed few years back. It's much more advanced there. It can build really good starters that, hey, I need this, I need a food delivery app, but it should do something from here. So you take both and mix it. So it's much easier for GPT-3 to do those requirements mapping to code directly.
Very smart answer. Tani, very smart answer. Very smart answer. Do you know why? There's already a company that's doing this. Take a wild guess.
Which one? I
so
don't
the
know.
template, the starter idea, it's called Amazon Honeycode. That's exactly what Honeycode is, right?
No, I have never heard about it.
Oh, Amazon just released Honeycode very recently. It's exactly the same thing. You want to build a to-do app, you click on to-do, and then it gives you the base data for it. And then it's a code automation app basically. They've got to-dos, they've got employee managers, they've got time trackers. So it's basically many of these, and you can technically categorize every app in the world into one of those segments, right? But then if you have complex apps, like say Avalon Meta, which has a little bit of course content, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of social, then GPT would be problematic. But in the future, everyone would already built everything.